Welcome to the end of the Final Fantasy VII playthrough. I honestly am making this video because I'm gonna send this video when I post this video on YouTube. I'm gonna send this video to Square Enix. I'm gonna post this video on Twitter, and I'm going to basically post it in as many places as I can. Um, as you guys know, we have done Final Fantasy VII all the way up to the end of chapter 17. And after the end of chapter 17, the gameplay, the cutscene that played after chapter 17 became blocked, and um, this I have to say that this video is going to be a formal fucking complaint. And we're gonna sit here and we're gonna talk some serious fucking shit about Square Enix right now. And I'm gonna send this video directly to you. So if anybody if Square Enix, if any of you at Square Enix North America are listening, I want you to understand that what I'm about to talk about. I hope that you learn from this and you stop being such pieces of shit assholes. And before any of you go, oh, well, it's not, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear anybody's bullshit on any of this, because here's the thing. When I buy a fucking game and I spend fucking money on a goddamn game, that game I own it, okay? I own that game, okay? And when it comes to being able to, show that game to people who want to see it, because there are those who may not be able to afford the game or be able to who don't have a PlayStation and they're not able to play it, or maybe somebody won't allow them to play it because they're younger. This game is not really it's not a gory game. When you block somebody from being able to view a game, this is not the first time this has been a problem. I have talked about this with the BioShock collection, and I have to say that this problem has never been solved by 2K, and that's a completely separate video, and I'm not going to go into a ramble about how everybody at 2K deserves to burn in hell for their blocking of the entire BioShock trilogy from being able to be streamed at all. A lot of people say, oh, well, why don't you just get a capture card? First of all, not all of us have the knowledge and the know-how to be able to do that. Because, first of all, I don't own a gaming PC, nor do I own a PC in general. I don't own a PC because I don't want one, okay? I do all of my stuff on a Mac, and that's my choice, okay? When people integrate streaming into consoles, and we have this on this fucking platform, not only can I not stream my games in 4K because the applications on here don't allow for streaming in 4K, not just on the PlayStation but on the Xbox as well. It's that already in itself is a fucking problem. Everything is in 4K, yet we can't stream in 4K, which is ridiculous. But here's the problem. The problem isn't, if it was maybe just that cutscene, I would have let the cutscene go, and I would have described what was in the cutscene, and we would have gotten back on track to finishing the game. And that is not, that's not what happens. You see, I did a little bit of research while after I had cut the stream, after it had gone to the blue, and I found out that the entire ending of the game, from the end of chapter 17 through all the rest of chapter 18 until the credits roll, is completely blocked from being recorded. First of all, how fucking dare you block the ending of this game so that people cannot see it. And a lot of people say, oh, well, they want to avoid spoilers. First of all, this game is not a full game. Let's just get that right down to the fucking nitty-gritty. This is not the full Final Fantasy VII experience. This is only a fraction of that experience. And maybe if Square Enix would have started this sooner and made a full goddamn game instead of a part of a game, we would have had maybe a little bit of an explanation as to why they didn't want to spoil certain things. But guess what? I'm going to spoil it for you right here and now what happens at the end of this goddamn game, because I'm not going to put up with the bullshit that Square Enix has done by blocking this from being seen. So I'm going to tell you exactly what happens, because fuck you for doing this, and fuck you for justifying it because you don't want little spoilers. First of all, Aerith fucking dies in the goddamn game. We're all aware of this. This spoiler has been known for over 20 fucking years. Alright? And this is something that happens way down the line near the end of the original game. That's not even something that we're close to in this remake. So why they want to stop you from seeing the end of what is a fraction of this game is absurd. So let me tell you exactly what happens. After the cutscene, when the whispers and everything, surround the building, you end up riding on the bike. You have a motorcycle scene, and you fight a big enemy. I'm scrolling down to see what it's called. You fight a bunch of enemies. You fight some moth units and stuff like that. But then you fight the Motorball boss, and the Motorball boss is basically this giant kind of mech robot on wheels that's going down the highway. And you fight the Motorball boss. He has a couple stages, and then afterwards you'll be back on foot again. You'll be able to get some items, and then you have a second boss fight. That second boss fight is with the Whisper Harbinger. Now, the Whispers all basically conjure together to become this one gigantic thing that is the Whisper Harbinger. It has no weaknesses and anything. It's basically immune to every single, power and stuff that you have, and it splits itself into 3 different enemies: Whisper Rubrum, Whisper Viridi, and Whisper Crucio. And the Whisper Rubrum fights with a sword, Whisper Viridi fights barehanded, and Whisper Crucio fights with guns. And basically they're all kind of separate, and you fight them all separately. Then it goes into phase 2, and then they fight basically with elemental attacks. After you've gone through phase 2 of the Whisper Harbinger, you go into phase 3, where you go up against a single Whisper, but they're way more aggressive. You go into then phase 4 of the Whisper Harbinger. Tifa leaves the party, and Aerith joins. And you face off against Whisper Viridi and Crucio. If I'm not saying those names right, whatever. I don't give a fucking shit at this point. After you defeat all 3 of them, you'll have basically the Harbinger, which is phase 5. Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith are your primary party, and you fight in another phase until you get to phase 6, where it turns into Bahamut. You basically want to use a bunch of summons to help defeat it. And then after you've defeated Whisper Bahamut, he splits back into the original 3, and then you fight them again. Eventually, you'll defeat the Whisper, and then there's another cutscene that takes place, and then you fight Sephiroth. Now, the fight with Sephiroth is a pretty hard one. You want to fight in Punisher mode with Cloud, He's the most aggressive and heavy damaging boss, basically in the entire game. You just have to drain him of his health. Just keep attacking him as much as you can, and then you'll enter phase 2, where your team members arrive to help you. So you have Aerith and Tifa and everything, and then you'll fight in phase 3, where Barret will join. And then after you essentially defeat Sephiroth, the ending cutscene plays out, and the end of the game, essentially shows. I don't know what the end is yet because I haven't seen it myself. I am extremely frustrated with the fact that a company thinks that they have the ability to do this kind of shit because it's their property. This is 2020, and if you can't understand that streaming and game streaming is the fucking future and has been for the past 5 years, you need to get the fuck out of the industry. Don't make games anymore if you're not going to let people play them and show them off to people. There are people who've been waiting 20 years for this fucking game to come out, and ever since this remake was announced, people have been waiting almost a decade for this game to come out itself. You're greedy, you're assholes, and I seriously highly doubt that I'm now going to buy the next iteration at launch. In fact, if I buy the game at all, I'm going to buy it used, and I'm going to buy it at a bargain price. Because when I purchased this game, I was so excited to show people the experience of Final Fantasy VII, and excited to see this game remade for the first time as a huge fan of this title. And to spend 30 hours going through this game and making this experience for people and showing this game off and making it making it just such an enjoyable experience for people who watch the videos to enjoy. I have to say I'm fucking disappointed. First of all, this is the end. I can't believe that this is the end of the game here. That my audience, and the people who watch the video, that you won't be able to see the ending of Final Fantasy VII Part 1. Because Square Enix was too greedy and too stupid and too negligent to allow the ending of the game to be shown to you, because they think that, a game that I just, by the way, spoiled for all of you, is... apparently that spoiler in itself is too great. It's too great. This game is over 20 years old. We already know what happens, okay? Do you want to know the ending of Final Fantasy VII? Do you want to know the ending of the original game? The planet returns to normal. The whole ending of the game is that everything ends up disappearing. Shinra, the whole city and everything, it goes away. And the planet eventually returns back to normal, to its original form. There is no reason that this should be blocked. And I'm absolutely disgusted by it. I'm disgusted that developers are still doing this to people. I can't believe it. We spend all this money on your fucking games, and we are expected to be able to show this game off to people because people enjoy this shit, and people, are excited by it. I'm disgusted. I'm absolutely disgusted. So, I'm going to make sure that I post this video, and there is no excuse as to why we shouldn't be able to show the end of this game. And for the future, any developers that are making AAA titles, I just want you to understand something. If there are any developers out there that are making a AAA title right now, and this is what you, and if you plan on doing this, if you plan on making it so that the end of the game can't be streamed, I want you to understand that we're not going to play your games. That's just going to be the end of that. We're not going to play your games. I would much rather see your game studios burn to the ground because of your greed. You want people to play your games and you want people to love your games, then you need to be able to let people show your games. This is basically free fucking publicity for you. Because if you, they're still these, because and I hate to say it, but it's the Japanese developers, it's the Nintendo, it's the Square Enix. These are the people who can't get it in their heads that this is free advertising for you. That when people see these games and they see people play these games, they go, "Wow, that game looks fantastic. I love the way they play it. I want to go buy that game myself and pick it up and play it myself." They're going to be more likely to buy your game. This has been proven time and again by the Let's Play community, by the streaming community. You know why so many indie developers and so many other developers are so pro streaming? It's because they know the success that it brings their games. That this kind of advertising and this kind of showing of your game brings out a level of love for titles when people are able to play them and talk about how much they enjoy them or how much they don't. But it's the Nintendos, it's the Square Enix, it's the Namco Bandais, it's these people who still don't understand that this is the future, and if you don't like it, fuck off. You know, Nintendo is so greedy when it comes to streaming their games because you have to be partnered with them and all this other bullshit. I'm not going to deal with this bullshit from Square Enix. When Final Fantasy VII Part 2 comes out, I will not be picking your game up at launch. I will, in fact, I might just pirate your game because I don't want to give you money because you don't deserve my money. Because I obviously, since you think people don't deserve to see the end of the game, then I don't think that you deserve to have my money. You tricked me into buying this game the first time, and now I'm pissed. So for all of you who see this, if you have seen the rest of my Final Fantasy playthrough, thank you for coming to that. It was such a wonderful ride, despite Square Enix's, piss in my mouth at the end. Thank you for being a part of the journey. Thank you for being a part of the ride. It was fantastic while it lasted, but this is the end. This is the title screen here. The main menu here. This is the end. This me sitting here complaining about the end of the game. This is going to be the end. And a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, well, maybe they'll unblock it in the future." I don't care. I do not care. This is it. This is it. I'm not going to come back a year from now just to stream, 45 minutes of gameplay to prove a point. This is the end. If you want to, if there are people who have a capture card and they stream the whole game on it, good for you. Congratulations. But some of us don't have that ability. I surely don't. So this is the end of the playthrough. This is a thank you to the viewers who watched the playthrough, and thank you for being a part of the playthrough. And this is a fuck you to Square Enix. I'm not going to buy any of your games at launch anymore. I'm going to make sure that I don't buy your games to give you any money. And if anything, I'm going to hopefully pirate your games. I mean, it's not like you guys really make that many great games anyway. All of your games have mostly been garbage over the last decade. So that's it. That's going to be the end. Thank you all for coming. And if you want to be a Square Enix bootlicker, by all means, comment down below and tell me how I'm wrong, but I'm not. So that's going to be it. I'll see you all in the next playthrough, which is not going to be a Square Enix game. I guarantee you that. It's going to be something a lot better. It might actually be something like maybe Control from Remedy, a game studio that deserves it, or maybe we'll play something from Media Molecule or something, a really good studio that actually deserves some airtime. So thank you all for joining me on this very disappointing and very upsetting end to what could have become a great playthrough and would have ended in a great playthrough. So yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you all. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.